Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kurt Stubbs with the Ohio High School Hoops Around the State podcast, coming to you here Friday afternoon. I'm thinking if you are watching this, you are probably pretty excited about district finals weekend. We get it started tonight. We have 22 games on the card tonight. A lot of those games coming in Division 4 and Division 3. And then a massive card tomorrow on the 6th. 42 games tomorrow. So for me and for my money, this is the best 2 days of Ohio high school boys basketball of the season. Regionals are great. State tournament is great. But I mean, you're talking about next week, you're only going to have 64 teams left. And then, 16 the following week at the state tournament. Right now, you probably have the most good teams playing of any time during the season with these 2 days, district finals in all 4 divisions. So I created this little chart and feel free to use this and keep you updated throughout the weekend. Anything in gray is games that are tonight, and anything in white will be the games that are tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. So if you look in Division 4, there are 11 games that are going to be played tomorrow. You can see those 8 there in Region 13 and Region 14. You got 2 games in Region 15 tonight, and then you have the 1 in Region 16. The other 5 will play tomorrow. Some things that jump out to me in Division 4. If you look at Region 13, I think you've got some good games there. I think Lucas and St. Paul is going to be a contrast in styles. The Lucas score at halftime in their district semi was 12-6 against South Central. They took out the top seed. Lucas is playing really well right now, but so is St. Paul. The Winslow twins are probably going to be tough to handle. That game's tonight. Pretty good game there with contrasting styles. McDonald and Warren JFK should be a really good game. I think McDonald won their district semifinal by 1. Richmond Heights and Dalton could be a very intriguing game. Richmond Heights is a lot of people's favorite on paper to win Division 4, but Dalton won the Wayne County Athletic League, which is pretty impressive considering there's still 2 teams remaining in Division 3 from that league with Norwayne and Waynedale. So that's an intriguing game to me. Cary and Calvert there in Region 14. Cary upset top-seeded Old Fort. A lot of us were anticipating an Old Fort Calvert round 3. Both games went to Old Fort in the regular season. I think those games were settled by a combined 3 points. So it'll be interesting to see if Cary can keep it going against Calvert. They really did an effective job on Colin Nutter, held him to 8 points. He was the player of the year in the conference. But Cary, Coach Jamie Young, they'll have another chance to beat another Sandusky Bay Conference team tonight. 2 games in this region that really jump off the page are Columbus Grove and Ottoville. A lot of people have been anticipating this game. They played really early in the season. Ottoville won by 11. Both teams, Ottoville is playing really, really good basketball right now. Columbus Grove is obviously very talented with their big 3. This should be a really good game. I could see it going either way. St. Henry and New Bremen. St. Henry beat top-seeded Lima Perry. And New Bremen beat Minster at the buzzer. I was really high on that Minster team. New Bremen, I think it was Busey that hit the game winner. They beat them 40-39. New Bremen coming off that Division 7 football title. So they have a winning pedigree with this group of kids. So that's a battle of the MAC there to advance to the regional. And the other game that jumps out to me here is Antwerp and Toledo Christian. These two teams met in the district final last year. Antwerp winning that game 55-50. So we get a rematch of that game. Should be a really good game between two teams that are red hot right now. Region 15, Patriot Prep, kind of a newcomer to the tournament success scene. We'll be playing Grandview Heights. And then Malvern and Highland, who have not played this year, ironically, old IVC foes. Malvern, obviously the favorite in the East District, but never count out Coach Schleybaugh and the Hawks. They're not as talented as they have been in the past couple years, but Will Schleybaugh had a great game the other night, knocking out Strasburg. Both teams really rolled in their district semifinal games. Malvern beating Shenandoah and Highland beating Strasburg. Region 16, Bern Union and Newark Catholic. That'll be tonight. Cedarville Jackson Center is interesting to me. Cedarville, a one-loss team. Jackson Center, always tough about this time of the year. So another kind of contrast in styles. That should be a really good game. New Miami had been knocking on the door for quite some time. They'll get a chance to go up against undefeated Tri-Village. So that should be, I'm actually intrigued by the outcome of that one. I think Tri-Village is the favorite for sure. But New Miami has 3 kids that have been playing a long time for them. So that should be an interesting game. And then Botkins and Fayetteville Perry is the other game. Their 2 Region 15 Southeast Ohio games will be tomorrow night. You got your number 1 seed Glenwood, New Boston against Norm Person's Lucasville Valley squad. And then Howie Caldwell's Trimble team against the always tournament tough Leesburg Fairfield, who's the 11th seed, and they are still playing. If we move down to Division 3, if we bump down here to Division 3, you can see we have 10 games tonight there in gray. All of Region 9 and all of Region 11 will be playing tonight. You have probably the Division 3 favorite Lutheran East playing tonight. They'll be playing West Salem Northwestern. You've got a Wayne County Athletic League district final in Norwayne and Waynedale. You have Cardinal Mooney and Waterloo. And then New Middletown Springfield against Pymatuning Valley. So that's your Region 9 action. And then over in Region 11, you got a matchup of a sensational district final last year, Worthington Christian and Harvest Prep. Harvest Prep won that game last year. They were the 2019 state champs, so should be a good district final there. You might be wondering, that's the 1 and the 2 seed in Division 3 in Central Ohio. Both of those teams jumped in Region 11, possibly thinking that was an easier route to the state tournament as opposed to Region 10, where you find North Union and Johnstown Monroe playing tonight. But the rest of Region 11, Wheelersburg and Eastern Brown, I'm really interested to see how that turns out. Wheelersburg, has a couple of seniors that have played a lot of basketball. Eastern Brown can really fill it up. They play an exciting brand of basketball. And then you got Franklin and Adena, 2 teams that are really hot as well. A lot of people expected both of these teams to be good. Fairland was in the region last year. I think they lost 1 game last year. And had pretty much everybody back, so no surprise there. And then Frankfurt Adena was really good the other night against South Point, Logan Bennett and company. And then in Region 11, no real shock there. Fort Fry and Tusky Valley. the top two seeds in the East District. This is going to be an interesting game. Tusky Valley is probably the hottest team in the district. Fort Fry has played some tight games in the tournament already. Um, you know, I could see this game going either way, but I think Tusky Valley has a really good momentum going right now. So also interested to see how that one turns out. Region 10 has the one game, North Union and Johnstown Monroe. Johnstown Monroe took out a very good Bishop Reedy team. North Union beating Centerburg. I really like this Johnstown Monroe, Gavin Foe and Jake Lusk. Johnstown Monroe, man, you talk about a program that's been under the radar the last decade. They have done a lot of winning. It's dicey. The further along in the tournament you get, some years they've been in Division II. Most of the years they're in Division III. A lot of good teams in Central Ohio in those divisions that they've run into in the past. It's keep them from getting to, Final Four or a regional final. So, got that game tonight. North Union certainly is no slouch with Preston Crabtree. They will be ready to go against the Johnnies. The other game tonight is in Region 12 at Springfield Shawnee against Corey Albertson's Cincinnati Summit Country Day squad back in a district final. Games tomorrow, Ottawa Glandorf against Wayne Trace. Glandorf escaped last night in overtime against Coldwater out of the MAC. Cardinal Stritch and Archbold, two teams that are familiar to tournament success, especially Archbold. Cardinal Stritch has recently been at the state tournament. Willard and Western Reserve. I saw both of these teams play last night. Willard was just out of their mind shooting the basketball. Joe Bedingfield's team just blowing out Colonel Crawford, who was a really good team. They were undefeated coming in that game, and Willard, I think, had them down maybe 31 at one point in that game. And then Western Reserve, I was able to watch them play Ashton Crestview. Western Reserve is a really fun basketball team. If you just like a good brand of basketball, they play up tempo. They got guys that can shoot. They got guys with size and length. They really share the basketball. Just a really fun team to watch, led by Luke Rollison. They were tremendous last night. So interested to see if Willard can shoot the ball. Trey Paxton was out of his mind in the first half for the Flashes. I'll be interested to see if they shoot the ball as well against Western Reserve as they did against Colonel Crawford. Can they match that? Western Reserve has to be the favorite, but that could be real interesting if Willard can shoot the ball as well as they did last night. And then the other three games in Region 12, you got Taft and Indian Lake, Greenview and Anna and Versailles. Kind of a surprise out of the MAC against Marymount. Versailles was in that middle to bottom part of the MAC. It just shows you how strong that league is that they're playing in a district final. Taft, I thought that they were going to be a team that was capable of getting to the Final Four last year. They got upset. I could see them, advancing. This is a team that's certainly with Rayvon Griffin. This is a team that's certainly capable of a long tournament run again. Anna, man, Nathan Barhorst, what a job he has done. I mentioned it on Twitter. They're 88-18 in their last 4 years. He just keeps losing. First team all-conference guys, conference players of the year, and he just keeps on winning with the Rockets. So they get Greenview. That should be a pretty good game. So those are your Division III games, and most of those are tonight, but you do have 6 on Saturday. We look at Division II next. All 16 district finals are on Saturday. We start in Region 5. You got Struthers, who is undefeated, playing Chardon. You got the heavy favorite in Division II, Akron St. Vincent St. Mary's against Peninsula Woodridge there. Two really nice stories. Gilmore Academy upset Warrensville Heights and Padua Franciscan there in that district final. And then Poland, a team that's very familiar with tournament success under Coach Ken Grisdale, who is in his final season with Poland. He has announced his retirement. A fantastic career for him at Poland. I believe 3 state tournament appearances, back-to-back state tournament appearances. I want to say in 07 and 08, playing 2 completely different styles, which is just amazing. And they get the Youngstown Cheney Cowboys, who are a sleeper to me. They are playing really good basketball. If it wasn't for St. V being in this region, I really think Cheney is one of those teams that could have been a sleeper to get to the Final Four. It's going to be really difficult with Akron, St. Vincent's, St. Mary's in this region. Everybody knows that. We don't need to rehash that. Region 6, Tiffin Columbian against Toledo's Central Catholic, who knocked off Rossford the other night at 1-point victory for Chico Johnson, one of the top sophomore guards in the state, and the boys. Kind of had a feeling that Toledo CC was gonna be a thorn in somebody's side here. Didn't have a great record, but they play in the track, and that is obviously a lot of Division I schools. So be interesting. Logan Beeston and company tonight. Tiffin Columbia against Toledo CC. Norton against Chris Livingston and his Akron Buchtel Griffins. They are the team from Northeast District that is in this region. Shelby and Norwalk. Norwalk took out Ontario. Shelby is probably the overwhelming favorite in this district. TJ Pugh, Cody Lance. They play a really exciting brand of basketball as well. Norwalk did escape in overtime against Ontario. Norwalk, an extremely well-coached team. And then you got Lima Shawnee against St. Mary's Memorial, and these are 2 Western Buckeye League teams. Shawnee, I think, won the regular season game by 8. Dan Hagemeyer obviously knows how to win big games, and if I'm Shawnee, this game scares me a little bit. Being that the first game was so close, Hagemeyer being a great strategic coach to game plan against really good teams. But, I think when it's all said and done, I do think George Mangus and company will advance here. Shawnee is one of those teams that has an outside shot of winning a state championship. They were undefeated last year. They were in the regional when things shut down. Most of those guys are back. They've got Tyson Elwer back after he was out for a little while this season. So they are a legitimate threat to Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary's. But, getting out of the region, getting out of the district, not going to be easy. Shouldn't be. Region 7, you got Jonathan Alder, a team that's kind of flew under the radar this year against Columbus DeSales, led by Des Watson. Jonathan Alder, led by their senior Jackson Izzard. Pretty sure Alder is undefeated. Don't quote me on that, but that should be a great district final game. Alder does a really good job of winning a lot of close games. You got Unioto, who took out Logan Elm, which was a bit surprising to me. Logan Elm has so many good guards, and we know guards win in the tournament. Gallia Academy got by Jackson. Buddy of mine, John Bruce, who does a great job of covering Southeast Ohio basketball, Southeast Ohio sports in general, told me Gallia has an emerging freshman guard and a big man, senior big man, that could give Unioto some trouble in that game. Vincent Warren in a familiar place here in the district final against Waverly, who took out Sheridan behind 30 points from Trey Robertson. 37 points, excuse me. And then you got a couple of Guernsey County rivals, Meadowbrook and Cambridge. Scooter Tolsda looking to return to the regional. He was in the regional last year when things shut down. He was in the state tournament a couple years ago, I think 2019, 2018 or 2019. I remember them losing to Trotwood. But these two teams played this year. One of the games I know was a 1-point game. Meadowbrook's playing really well right now. Region 8, you got Dayton Chaminade, who has I don't want to say under the radar, but maybe a freshman that a lot of people haven't heard of yet, Jonathan Powell, who's really come on as the season has progressed. They're playing Cincinnati, Wyoming. Isaiah Walker coming off a monster performance against Cincinnati Woodward, 30 points, 17 rebounds. That should be a great game. Indian Hill against Tippecanoe. Really like this Tippecanoe team. They've kind of flew under the radar as well. I mean, unless you really, really follow it, they're a team that's pretty dangerous. Cincinnati McNick against Trotwood Madison, and then Heath and Bishop Watterson. Bishop Watterson took out Beechcroft the other night. That was a real nice win for Watterson. But you can't don't look at the records, especially those CCL teams. They have made noise in the tournament before with, very average records. And then Heath, who is mainly a junior-dominated team, very talented team that had a lot of success last year as sophomores, so that should be a good game as well. All right, let's finish this up with the big boys here. We got one game tonight in Division I. We got Findlay, Toledo St. John's. Should be a great game. When I was on with Michael Roth from Prep Hoops Ohio, I know I said a lot, but I think I picked Findlay to advance out of this district, and I'm still holding to that, but Toledo St. John's is playing really good basketball right now as well, so this game could certainly go either way. And then you got 15 D1 heavy-hitting games on Saturday. Lakewood St. Ed's against Bedford. Some of the people up that way would not be surprised if Bedford was able to pull the upset. They felt like this team hadn't been getting the respect that they deserved throughout the season. St. Ignatius, who did not play a district semifinal game, they advanced via the forfeit, will play Lorraine, who took out Sonny Johnson in the Garfield Heights Bulldogs. Lorraine led by West Virginia signee Seth Wilson going up against Cameron Joyce's St. Ignatius squad. A lot to like about St. Ignatius. I like their size, but I would give the edge to Lorraine at the guard position for sure. Lorraine is very, very tough-minded team. That game could go either way. If it came down to it, I do give Lorraine the edge with the guards, and wouldn't be surprised if they're in the regional again. Then we got Lima Senior against Northview, two teams in different conferences up that way. Quincy Simpson has done a really good job after losing a lot to graduation. They're back in a district final against a very under-the-radar Northview team. Over in Region 2, we got Medina, led by Corey Tripp, one of the more underappreciated players in the state. Really, really talented unsigned kid. And they're going up against a really talented Cleveland Heights team that Mike Roth and I were talking that if they could put it together, they're a team that could make a deep run. Seems like that they're doing that. They beat Shaker Heights by double digits the other night. So this should be a really good game. Then you got Federal League rivals Canton McKinley against North Canton Hoover. Not sure too many people would have expected Hoover to be in the district final. A lot of people expected Canton McKinley to be here. Then you've got Mentor and Solon, who are very familiar with each other. This should be a fun game, fast-paced, high-scoring game. I say that it might be in the 40s, but I'd be very surprised if this isn't a very high scoring game. I watched Mentor the other night against Dover. Luke Chacon was really, really, really good in the first half. They put away a pretty good Dover team, Bob Von Kennel and company, to move on to play Solon. Massillon Jackson beat a good Brush team to advance. I think Massillon Jackson is kind of went under the radar this year as well. They have a really good record, play some good teams. Coach Tim DeBevick does a great job with the Polar Bears, and they will get Walsh Jesuit, who knocked out Akron Hoban. In Central Ohio, which is all of Region 3, you've got Gahanna Lincoln, who is no surprise that they're here. Reynoldsburg, I don't know. You might want to call it an upset of Dublin Kaufman. I think those teams were pretty evenly matched. Reynoldsburg found a way to get to a district final in Coach Andy Moore's first year with the Raiders. You got Olentangy Liberty, who's a really good team as well. They will play Newark, who upset Thomas Worthington, a team that a lot of people, including myself, thought was a legit Final Four contender with, Jalen Solinger getting Isaiah Suttles back. They were really talented, and Newark did Newark things. Coach Quackenbush is one of the best. He's one of the best in the state, no matter what division. Cade Bafford was really, really good defensively. Talking with Zach Fleer, really, really caused problems on the perimeter for Thomas Worthington. They advance. Seems like they're always in the district final. So Greg Nosselman against Jeff Quackenbush should be a great coaching matchup. Westerville Central, Pickerington North should be a great game as well. Westerville Central has been great all season. Pickerington North is still, kind of young at the guard position. A lot of juniors. I don't think Coach Bates gets the credit he deserves. Especially, after losing that class he had with Jerome Hunter and those guys back in 2018. This group, I think he's done a great job with this team with Jerry Saunders and Corey Hudson and just a lot of really under the radar junior guards. Casey George there leading the way. Seems like he's played for 15 years for those guys, but really tough guard. They're going to be a tough out because they are so good at the guard position, but Westerville Central is good at the guard position as well, led by Tesos Cook. This should be a really good game. I see this game being like a grinded out game, like in the 40s, low 50s. And then you got Hilliard Bradley against Pickerington Central. Pickerington Central is currently riding a 12-game winning streak, which is really hard to believe with all the injuries that they have overcome this year, whether it was Garner Wallace or Thiem being out for the whole season. Deshaun Evans is another kid that's been out most of the season. They lost Sonny Styles for a couple games with an ankle injury. He's back. They're young. Devin Royal and Sonny Styles, both sophomores. Josh Harlan, a junior. But, the backbone of this team is Garner Wallace and Zakai Alexander, two seniors that are really the stability for this team with so many young guys. And then Bradley, they're Bradley. They know who they are. They're not going to beat themselves. You're going to have to beat them, and Central has done that before. They beat them in 2018 in a regional final in a pretty big upset, if you ask me. Neither of these teams are the same as they were then. So this is one game where I just don't really know how this game is going to play out. So I don't want to really make any predictions on this game. I can't really figure that. I don't have a good feel on that game. Over in Region 4, Moeller and Miamisburg. Miamisburg's had a great season. They got a win over Centerville this year. Moeller, they've lost some games this year. But a lot of that has to do with the improvement of the GCL, especially with St. Xavier's emergence, with Elder being a lot better this year. And, so they took a loss to each of those two teams. And, it's not typical for Moeller in the last few years to lose to an Ohio team or multiple games to an Ohio team, especially in conference. But they would be an overwhelming favorite here. St. Xavier and Wayne played this year. St. Xavier won a tight game. This game could certainly go either way. Elder and LaSalle, obviously both play in the GCL South. Elder is better this year, but, these teams are very familiar with each other. And then Centerville and Mason. Mason is kind of one of those teams that's they always seem to be around in March. Centerville would be the favorite here. Really talented junior class. Brooke Cupp's a great coach. So that should be a very good game as well. Both of those teams are really well coached. And, outside of the Moeller game in this region, I could see a scenario where, you could make a case for those other three games to go either way, which, you could say a lot. You could say that a lot about these district final games, but just wanted to give you a quick rundown. I'll make this link available for this spreadsheet if you want to use it. Definitely looking forward to these next two nights. 64 games in 2 days, 22 tonight, 42 tomorrow. So hope everybody enjoys district final weekend. It's March. It's the best time of the year. And let's get this going.